So yeah, we're going to be going through Eminus today. Eminus, for me personally, is my favorite product, simply because it's run by people. I know we have a lot of products that are incredible to do with AI. We obviously have Hercules, we have Monara. But for me, the fact that someone has learned this skill and is sending us signals that we simply have to copy and paste, I think is incredible. So we're going to go through the 4 different Monara channels that you can be a part of. But I'm going to give you some kind of suggestions as a beginner, probably the best ones for you to focus on, especially if you're brand new and you've never traded before. I'm going to steer you kind of in the right direction. So what I would do if I were you is, first of all, have a notepad and pen, but second of all, have your phone out and ready on the economy website, because I'm going to go through how you can actually get into the Telegram channels, and the easiest way is to do that on your phone so that you can be in the channel straight onto your phone. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and when you guys see my screen, can you just drop a 3? Drop a 3 so I know that you can see my screen. You should hopefully be able to see it now. Somebody could let me know. Amazing. Thank you, Miriam. Appreciate it. Okay, perfect. So economy back office. Okay, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, if you are not an affiliate, you're not going to see this bit on the right. Okay, this is somebody else's account, so you can see this bit here. But the very first thing that you need to do, okay, is you actually need to register your Telegram details. Okay, that's super, super important. So for you to get into any of the economy platforms on Telegram, you need to register your Telegram details. So super simple. You go to the Telegram app. At the top in the search button, you type in user info bots, and then you start a conversation with it. Okay, now on most phones, it'll automatically start the conversation, but you may have to type in /start. Okay, if it already has it there, you literally just click it. Okay, when it does that, it's going to spit you out your Telegram information. The only thing you need to pay attention to is the 9 or 10 digit number that it comes out with. You type that in here and you click save. Okay, now once you've done that, if you ever go onto a link and it says something like link is expired, just come back here and put your Telegram details in again and save again. Sometimes, you know, just there's a glitch in the system and you just need to resave your details. Okay, so to get into Eminus, you're going to come over here on the left and you're going to go to Forex and you're going to go to Eminus. Okay, so you go to Forex and you go to Eminus. Now, this is going to give you the 4 different channels that we have. Now, the very first thing to note is, even though one is Arabic, one says Nepal, one says Spanish, they all communicate in English. Okay, so you can be in all 4 of these channels if you want to be, because if you're an English speaker, you're still going to understand, because, you know, it's all in English. Okay, so I'm just going to talk through each of these 4 channels. Okay, and the reason I'm going to do that is because each of these 4 channels is run by a different educator, and each of those educators have their own preferences, they have their own strategies, they have their own way of doing things. Okay, now the very first thing, if you're a beginner, you want to be in Eminus English. Eminus English is the easiest channel to be in because it just sends signals. Okay, meaning no results are shared, there's no conversations. Like, it's super simple to just copy and paste, and you don't need to kind of be paying attention to the channel the whole time. Now, what I also like about Eminus English is that it often has longer term trades. Okay, sometimes, you know, we join and we think we're going to make like super quick money and we're going to be millionaires overnight. I'm here to tell you that's not the case. But also, I think Eminus English really teaches us patience, because it might take 2 days before the trade to hit, and it might take 2 or 3 days for that trade to hit take profit. So you have to wait 5 days before you see your profit. But it's actually super important for you to learn how to be patient when it comes to trading. Right? Trading is probably 95% psychology, and actually only 5 to 10% skill. It's super important for you to know straight from the beginning, it's going to be a roller coaster of emotions. You're going to have to learn to manage those emotions. you will lose trades. Okay, so you have to be prepared for that to happen, but this is also why we use proper risk management for every single trade. Okay, what I don't want you to happen is for you to think, oh my gosh, okay, Eminus English hasn't lost a trade all week. So this very last signal, I'm just gonna like massively over leverage so I can make a lot of money, and then you lose that trade and lose half of your account. Okay, that's what we don't want to happen. Okay, so for Eminus English, you literally just click Telegram link. It's going to take you to the Telegram and you join. Okay, now I'm going to go through after the different types of signals that you may see. Okay, but we'll get into that in a second. Now, next you have Eminus Arabic. So you would just click that again. Eminus Arabic Telegram is here. So this is run by an educator called Abdullah. He is phenomenal. He's been trading for over 17 years. But if you are new, do not join this channel. Now, I only say that because as a beginner, it's very, very advanced. He only does live sessions, so they aren't actually signals. So you would have to be live on the session in order to make money with Abdullah. He trades Monday to Friday at the New York Open. That's when the New York Stock Exchange opens at 2:30 p.m. UK time, 9:30 a.m. New York time. EST, and he exclusively trades US 30, right, which is the Dow Jones index. So obviously when the New York Stock Exchange opens, that moves really crazy. So he is in and out of trades in a matter of seconds. Now, what I will say though, if you've joined economy and you've already had trading experience, this is a guy you want to plug into. Like his win ratio is insane. I have been in economy since August and I have never seen him have a losing day. Like hand on heart, have never seen him have a losing day, but it will take time to learn his strategy. Okay, so if you're someone who really wants to plug in, you really want to learn and you really want to make money, he's someone to pay attention to, but use a demo account for at least the first week or two. Okay, so that is Eminus Arabic. Then we have Eminus Nepal. Eminus Nepal is like a fan favorite because he trades gold, and his gold signals are, for the most part, very, very good. He personally has made me a lot of money. Okay, but with his signals, you have to be very, very careful with your risk management because he often sends two signals at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to go through what that means and what that would look like. But it means sometimes you could be doubling the risk. And if you don't really understand your risk management yet, it can be a bit tricky. Okay, so before you trade with a live account on Eminus Nepal, you just really want to make sure you understand what risk management is. You understand that when you're taking two trades, you are doubling your risk, right? So you need to be careful. And then lastly, we've got Eminus Spanish. Eminus Spanish is the only channel that I personally have not taken trades from. And that's simply because with Eminus English, Nepal, and Manara, like I've got more than enough trades to take. So I just haven't used Eminus Spanish, but I do know he sends trades very frequently, but he actually uses Manara to send his trades. Okay, so if you're also looking to study Manara as well, he could be a good person to plug into. His name is Luis. He is obviously Spanish speaking. So he speaks Spanish in the channel, but everything's also translated into English. Okay, so that's where all the Eminus signaling groups are. Okay, so you literally just go to the Telegram link, join those groups. So I'm going to go through the different types of signals that you may encounter. Okay, so I'm going to actually reshare my screen as a whiteboard so we can actually walk through these together. This is probably the point where you want to take notes. So if you don't know the different trade types, you definitely want to understand them. Okay, so there are basically three different types of signals that you will see. What happened to my text box there? There we go. Okay, so there's three different types of signals that you will see. Okay, so you may see an educator say buy now or sell now. Now, basically what they're telling you to do is to do a market execution. Okay, so what that means is you are executing the trade immediately as close to the price that they give as possible. Okay, hence the word execution. Okay, so that means you are going straight into a trade. Okay, so that's one option. You may then also see an educator, and this is especially, you see this a lot with Eminus English. Okay, this is also why I like Eminus English, because if you're somebody who's super, super busy, they often set up limit orders. Okay, so a buy limit or a sell limit. Now, what this means is that you are setting up a pending order. Okay, so the trade isn't ready yet. Okay, they're waiting for it to get to a particular zone. Okay, if it's a buy, they're waiting for it to get to a support level. If it's a sell, they're waiting for it to get to a resistance level. Okay, but you set up this order ahead of time so that when it hits that particular zone, it's going to automatically put you into the trade. Okay, and again, I'll show you an example of what that is in a second. Now, the last one that isn't as frequent unless you get into Eminus Spanish, he uses this a lot, a buy stop or a sell stop. Now, it is very much the same as a limit. It's a pending order. Okay, so those are basically the different types of trades that you will see. So you're either going to get into the market immediately with a market execution, or you're going to set up one of these two pending orders. Okay, now the difference between these orders, because I get this question a lot, what's a limit and what's a stop? Like, what is the difference? Okay, so if I just talk about a limit first, okay, so I'm going to use a limit here. So let's say, for example, let me use a different color. This looks like quite a light purple. What is that? There we go. Okay, so let's say this is our entry price. Okay, whatever this is, whatever pair we're on, this is where the educator wants us to enter the market. Okay, so if it's a buy limit, okay, if it's a buy limit, that's going to mean price is currently above the area it wants us to get to. Okay, so the educator, this is probably going to have the market moves. Okay, it goes up and down. Okay, but they're basically wanting it to come down to this area. Okay, once it touches this area, it's going to automatically put us in the trade. And basically what they're anticipating to happen is then it to move upwards. Okay, that is a buy limit. Okay, so they're wanting it to come down to a support, touch this area, and then buy upwards. Now, in theory, what's probably going to happen is that it's going to test this area. It might go down a bit. You might be in drawdown. You're going to see red on your MetaTrader 4, which is completely normal. And then it hopefully eventually buys upwards. Okay, that is a buy limit. Now, if it's a sell limit, it's the exact same thing, just in reverse. Okay, sell means they want it to go down. Buy means they want it to go up. Okay, so for a sell limit, price would currently be below the entry. Okay, again, let's pretend this is the same entry. It hits this point, and then what they want it to do is eventually sell downwards. And of course, in that selling downwards is where we, of course, make our profit. Okay, now a buy stop, okay, a little bit different. A buy stop, again, it's still a buy, so we still want the market to go up. Okay, but if this is still our entry point, okay, we're going to pretend the same point. But if it's a buy stop, price is below, and basically it's going to come up. And what they want it to do is to hit this entry and just blow straight past. Okay, blow straight past. And then it's the same thing for a sell. Okay, for a sell, if it's a stop, price is currently above. They want it to hit this point and then just keep blowing past and sell down. Whoop, that's a big arrow. Okay, so if that is making sense so far, drop a 2 in the chat box. If we're kind of understanding the difference between a market execution, where we go straight into the market, or we've got a buy limit or a sell limit, which we're setting up ahead of time and then just waiting for the market to come to us. Okay, I'm seeing some 2s. Okay, amazing, amazing, amazing. Stephen threw a 1. I hope that means you understand, Stephen. Okay, amazing. So those are the different types of trades. Okay, easy peasy. Now, the next thing I want to go through is actually what a signal will look like. Okay, what a signal will look like. Now, I can't actually, with the Telegram channels now, you can't take a screenshot. So because of compliance and because of obviously, you know, people aren't subscribing, you know, we don't want to be sharing signals. Okay, so I'm going to type out what a signal will look like. Okay, so let's say, for example, today I'm going to use gold as an example because it's my favorite pair and it's what I trade a lot. Okay, so let's say, for example, today we got a signal that says buy, or rather, Eminus Nepal will say gold, but for those of you that don't know what gold is, on MetaTrader 4, it's XAUUSD. Okay, so let's say he will say buy gold now. Okay, so that means it's a market execution. I'm wanting to get into the market as soon as possible, and then he'll give me a price. Okay, so let's say it's at 1928 point, I don't know, 45. Just making this up as we go. Okay, so buy gold now at 1928.45. Now, the very first thing you want to do is to go to your MetaTrader 4 and look at a chart. Okay, so you want to see how close is this to that price. If you see the signal an hour later and it's already moved miles into profit, then you don't want to take this trade. Okay, so you want to get as close as possible to this particular price. Okay, he's then going to give us this he's going to say SL, which stands for those of you who are new, stands for stop loss. Now, what a stop loss is it's a point in the market that if the trade does not go in our favor, okay, again, it will happen. You will lose trades. Get used to it. Okay, if it does not go in our favor, it's going to automatically take us out of the trade in a loss, but it protects the rest of our account. Okay, now as beginners, if we're only risking 1% per trade, which is all anyone in here should be risking, that when that hits stop loss, you're only losing 1% of your account. Okay, so if your account is £1,000 or $1,000, that's only $10 or 10 pounds. Okay, so he'll put the stop loss. Now, because this is a buy, my stop loss is going to be under the execution price. Okay, so let's say my stop loss is 1920. Okay, then I have my TP. Now, TP stands for take profit. Okay, so again, if the market does go in the direction that he, or well, it is a he, Nepal is a he, that he is anticipating, if it hits that price, the trade is going to automatically close on our behalf with our profit. Okay, so if I just put here, let's say our TP is 1935. Okay, hold on, I'm just going to check the chat box because I see another mentor said 3% is the most you should risk. Yeah, so Lucas, I would say 1 to 3%. If you are brand new and you've never traded before, I personally would stick to 1%. I would stick to 1%. If you want to put it up to 3%, you absolutely can. Every person has obviously their own choice, their own trading plan. I've been trading for 3 years and I would never risk 3% of my account. It's just not worth it, in my opinion. Okay, but it's totally up to you. 1 to 3%, I would say never more than that. I personally, if I was brand new, I'd only be risking 1. Okay. Again, Lucas, I'm gonna leave this up to you because you're your own person. But even if you're new, like if we're talking about a few weeks here, you've been trading on a demo account, you've gained a bit of confidence, like 3 weeks, like you are like a fetus still. Like when it comes to the trading world, like you are an unborn baby when it comes to trading. Like I'm sorry if that's offensive, but like honestly, like trading is a long-term game. There's no point in risking that much of your account. Like this is long-term. You should be compounding with the long-term. You should have a long-term trading plan. Trading is not a get-rich-quick thing. Like absolutely not. So I personally, again, I stick to 1% because that's still going to make me money regardless. Okay. And I know my account is safe. But again, up to you. You want to risk for 3%, you go for it. Okay. So back to my example here. So we've got a gold. We're buying now. Okay. So we're going to get in as close to that price as possible. We've got our stop loss. We've got our take profit. Okay. Now, I know I've got some like not rookies on here. I've got some veterans on here. So veterans, you stay quiet for a minute. Okay, but when it comes to gold, okay, and I want to go through gold especially because the pips on golds are they move. It moves big. It moves big. It does big movements. Okay, so when it comes to gold, let's say, for example, right, my buy is 1928.45. Okay, and I look at this trade, and let's say it is at 1929.45. It's never going to be that perfect, but let's pretend. Okay, this means this trade is already 10 pips in profit. Okay, when it comes to gold, if I do 1929 minus 1928, it only equals 1. So in your head, you're probably thinking, okay, that hasn't moved far. It's only 1. It's only moved 1 place. But with gold, you add a 0. So with gold, you add a 0. So really, that's already moved 10 pips. Now, if the TP is 60, 70, 80 pips, 10 pips is not that big of a deal. But if it's already moved to 1931, somebody tell me if that has moved. What just happened to my whiteboard? Can you guys still see that? Oh, where'd it go? Oh, there we go. Okay. So if it's moved to 1931, how many pips has this traded moved? So the educator wants me to enter at 1928, but it's at 1931. How many pips has this trade already moved? Somebody tell me. Hold on. Why won't my chat open? 30, 30, 30. Good. You guys are good students, you know. I'm a teacher, so I'm gonna grade you here. But yeah, so it's moved 30 pips. That's a lot. That's a lot of pips. So if I'm already 30 pips in profit, I'm not touching this trade. Okay, because it's already started to make its movement. Okay, so that would be 30 pips. Guys, I don't know what's happening here with my little typey thing. There we go, 30 pips. Now, somebody tell me, next thing, Eminus Nepal, if you're going to take Eminus Nepal signals, he doesn't often tell you how big the stop loss is. And that's super important for risk management. So if our trade, if we enter, let's say we did enter right at 1928 and the stop loss was 1920. How many pips is my stop loss? So we enter at 1928. My stop loss is 1920. How many pips is my stop loss? Who can tell me? So we minus not 20. So if we minus 1928 from 1920, what are we left with? Okay, we are left with 8 and we add a 0. So our stop loss is 80. Perfect. How many pips is my take profit? How many pips is my take profit? Is it 80? Oh no, that's the stop loss. How many pips is my take profits? My take profits is 1935, and I'm going to enter at 1928. Remember, you just minus them. Okay, 70. Zoom user, I can't see your name, but well done. You got a gold star. Okay, so 70 pips. Now, when it comes to risk management, and I'm going to actually, let me share I need to share my phone screen. Hold on a minute. Boop, boop, boop. 1 second, guys. I should have logged this on my phone beforehand. I always forget. Give me a second. Okay, so could I repeat? So basically, when it comes to gold, okay, what you want to do is you want to essentially look at the difference in the numbers. Okay, so if I enter at 1928, okay, that's my entry price, and my stop loss is 1929. Now, if I just did simple subtraction, okay, so 1920 from 1928, I'm left with 8. Now, with gold, I just add a 0, so that's 80 pips. Now, the same with take profit, okay? If I minus 1928 from 1935, I'm left with 7. Okay, 7. I add a 0, so that's 70 pips. Okay, that's how we calculate gold. So let me just show you, though, why that's important. Okay, so I'm going to, first of all, get up the website before I share my screen. So there's one website that every newbie should have saved. Actually, everybody, not even if you're a newbie. If you trade all the time, you should know your risk management, and you should use this a lot. Where is, if I can find it, mate, there we go. Copy. I'm going to paste it into the chat. So if you're on your phone or you're on your laptop, copy this website, put it into your browser, and bookmark it. Okay, so MyFX Book is where you can calculate your risk. Okay, let me turn off my camera on this one because I'm seeing my face twice. There we go. So MyFX Book is where you can calculate your risk. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if I'm going to take a gold trade, okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to think, okay, how big is my stop loss? Okay, so the first thing I need to know is how big is my stop loss? Okay, so I'm going to click this link here. Okay, so I'm going to go over to MyFX Book, and I'm going to type in the pair that I'm trading. Now this does any Forex pair. Okay, so whatever trade, whatever thing you're trading, you can put in here. Okay, but if I'm going to trade gold, I'm going to come to XAU USD. Okay, Monara also has really good gold trade ideas. So, I trade gold a lot, so you guys should definitely check it out. So then the currency, right? Whatever currency your account is, it doesn't really matter. I'll just keep it on USD. You'll put your account size. So how much money is in your account? Okay, so I'm going to use 1,000 as an example, because most people start between 500 and 1,000. Okay, so I'm going to put 1,000, and the risk ratio is how much do I want to risk? Okay, so I personally am only going to risk 1% per trade. Then this is where this is important. Okay, I need to know how many pips my stop loss is. Okay, so my stop loss for the trade example I gave was 80 pips. Okay, now here's the other thing with golds. Okay, where it says lot size here, you're going to take that down to 0.01. Basically, you take away a 0. I have no idea, guys. Don't even ask me why MyFX Book is set up like this. Any trade thing is calculator set up like this. I have no idea why. That's actually not. Hold on a minute. That's not right. Hold on a minute. Okay, no, sorry. Do you know what, guys? It was right. Regina? You're on here. You've seen me do this before, and I always have to change it, but I didn't have to change it this time. I think I'm going crazy. Okay, but $1,000, zero, yeah, right? But if you have $1,000, 0.10 is what you can kind of expect to be 1% risk. So this is 0.13, okay? So when it comes to taking this trade now, okay, I know that I'm risking 0.13 loss. Okay, and I can safely take this trade and know if it hits stop loss, I'm only going to lose 1% of my account. Now, let's say I'm gonna risk 2%. Okay, if I just put in 2% here, you'll see how the lot size changes. So if I do calculate, if I'm going to risk 2%, I can safely use a 0.25 lot. Okay, so let me go over to my demo account. I took some random trades earlier today, so I'd have some. I've tried to get better at taking trades in advance so that we can have some to take. Did I take any? No. Oh, shoot. Okay, let me just randomly take a trade. Let me just randomly take one here. Actually, no, let me start from the beginning. So this is what MetaTrader 4 looks like. Okay, if you're going to take a pair, okay, if you're going to take gold, you can see it there, XAU USD. If you ever are going to copy a signal that you don't see the pair, you just click the plus button in the top right hand corner and you type in whatever that is. So let's say it's, I don't know, Euro JPY. Oh, I've already got Euro. Okay, let's say EuroCAD. That's my second favorite pair. EuroCAD. Okay, so obviously you saw I clicked the green plus button. Now if I come back over, it is now at the bottom of my list. Okay, so if you ever don't see a pair, you just click the plus button, you add it to your list. Now, if it is a indice, US 30, for example, NAS 100, XPX 500, on different brokers, they have different names. So for example, if you're going to be trading with Abdullah, who trades US 30, on Vantage, that's DJ 30. So just Google it, right? If you ever see something and it's an indice and you can't find it, just Google different names for that. Okay, but let's come back to our gold signal. Okay, so I'm going to go to gold here. Now, first thing I said for you to do is to check your chart. Okay, check your chart. Now, the signal that I wrote down, I think I put 1928. Obviously, this is way below 1928. Okay, so let's just pretend we're in the area. Okay, so if I'm close to the trade I want to execute, I go ahead and I click trade in the top right-hand corner. Okay, and then I put my risk. Okay, so I just said to you guys, if it was 1% on $1,000 account, I would type in 0.13. If I wanted to risk 2%, I could put 0.25. Okay, totally up to you. Then I put in the stop loss. Okay, so I would literally just copy the signal, whatever the educator told me. Okay, so again, we're going to pretend, I think I put 35. It's not going to let me take this because obviously these signals, it's not a signal right now. My take profit, I believe I put, oh no, it was the other way around. Stop loss was 1920 and take profit was 1935. Okay, so I would literally just copy and paste. No Zoom user, it wouldn't. It'd be 0.02. Yeah, sorry, you're correct. Yeah, you're correct. So take profit 1935. Okay, then I would literally just click. If it's a buy, I would click buy by market. If it was a sell, whatever I'm doing, it would be sell by market. Okay, so guys, that's just literally where you copy and paste the numbers. And you can see on the left, it tells you stop loss, it tells you take profit. Now, let's say this is a buy limit, for example, or a sell limit. Where it says market execution, you just click it. And you can see now the different options I explained to you at the beginning. You've got your buy limit, you've got your sell limit, you've got your buy stop, and you've got your sell stop. Okay, so let's say it was a buy limit, for example. Now you can see the difference that the price has been added. Okay, because obviously we have to wait for it to get to that price. So again, let's just pretend, okay, it was I think I put 1928. The stop loss was 1920 and the take profit was 1935. Okay, I would just copy those over there. Now, at the bottom, obviously I can't place it because again, price is now below this, is at like 1913. But obviously that would be blue and I could literally just click place and it would automatically put me into a pending order. So let me just quickly actually take one that would make sense. So it'll let me take it and you guys can see. So don't copy this. I'm just literally just making these up so you can see how to take a trade. Okay, so see now I put in a relevant price, okay, because I'm at 1913. Okay, so I want it to come down to 1910 and it'll put me into the trade. So what do the two numbers on each side of the screen mean? Okay, really good question. So I think you mean right now on the left-hand side, it says 1913.16. On the right-hand side, it says 1913.27. Basically what that means is price is currently at 1913.16, but because of your broker's spread, it's going to put you in at the right-hand number. Okay, every single broker has something called a spread. This is how the brokers make their money. So when you exit a trade, you keep your profit, but they keep that teeny little portion in between. If you lose a trade, again, you lose your profit, but they keep that teeny little portion in between. Okay, so that's the difference. So the price on the left is the current price of the market. The price on the right, if you were to execute that trade, is where you're going to get into the market. Okay, so in this one, you can see it's like literally like a 10 pipette difference. It's not even a full pip, it's a pipette, right? It's teeny weeny. Okay, but good question. Right, so let me go ahead and place. Okay, I placed that trade. Now, because I placed it, you guys can now see, right, on my chart, those lines that have been added. Oh, so at the very bottom, you can see where it says buy limit 0.25. So all I need to happen now, okay, is for price to come down to my entry. Okay, when it hits that price, it's going to automatically activate that trade on my behalf. Okay, and then obviously I'm hoping for it to come upwards. When it hits TP, it's going to automatically take me out of that trade with my profit. Okay, and now if I come over to trade, I can also see my order has been set, right? You can see orders. Now, let me quickly take a trade and I'm going to, again, nobody take this. I'm going to whack up the lot size. So that way, we can either see some profit or loss. Either way, I just want to see some, there we go. Okay, so this is a good example of spread. Because this is a really, really big lot size, you would never use this lot size unless you had like 50K in your account. But I just wanted to have money so that we can half it and take partials, and you can see what that means. So this is an example of spread. It's put me directly in the trade, but obviously in a loss, because if I were to close that trade now, that's the portion that the broker is going to take. Okay. So let's say you get 30 pips in profit, and your educator sends you a signal or sends you a message and says, okay, guys, we're 30 pips in profit, close part of your trade. They'll say take partials. Okay, so take partials means, you talked about the spread. What if it's past entry? Well, there's no such thing. Spread is just literally whatever the entry is, it's just going to add a couple pipettes, and that's just what spread is. So if, I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's just something that you just have to deal with. But if you watch the ECA videos, it's going to explain to you what spread is. Okay. But if I were you, I just wouldn't pay attention to it. It doesn't matter to your trading. It's not going to make a big deal. Okay. Somebody else, do you also teach how to use Monara? I don't personally teach how to use Monara, but tomorrow night, same time, 9 p.m, Bells is on and he teaches how to use Monara. Okay. So let's say your educator tells you to take partial profits. Okay. So what you want to do, okay, up here, we're pretending this is blue. We're pretending this is in profit. Okay. So what I would do, I would slide to the left, and it gives me these options. Okay, now if I'm going to take partials, I'm going to click the tick with the circle. It's going to bring up this screen. Now partials means basically I want to close half of my trade. So I want to take half of my trade, keep my profits, bag my profits, and then leave the other half running. Okay, so what I would do is I would just half whatever my trade was. Now this, because I took a really big lot size so I could get bigger numbers. Okay, so I would close half. But let's say we entered with that 0.13, I could just put 0.07. It's almost half. Okay, then I would close. Okay, so now you can see it's closed a part of that trade, and I'm left with, in this case, it's 4.93. Now, if I then want to move my stop loss to break even, because anytime an educator tells you to take partials, they also now want your trade to become completely risk-free. Okay, so if you move your stop loss up to entry, if the trade reverses and comes back down, it's just going to take you out at the same place you entered. You will have already bagged half your profits, and you won't have lost any money because it's at entry price. Okay, so what you would do on the left-hand side is your entry. So under XAU USD, you see it says 1913.37. Okay, so if I wanted to move my stop loss to entry, I would click the pencil. Okay, so the pencil is to modify, and I would just type that in here. Oh, not take profit. Sorry, stop loss. And whatever it was 1913.27. Now it's not going to let me do that because obviously I'm in negative because of the spread. Okay, but then I would just click modify. Now, if I want to close the whole trade entirely, I would just slide to the left, I would click the tick, and I would just click close. And that's it. Okay? So, guys, I've just talked a lot, okay? But hopefully you now understand the different types of orders, okay? You understand risk management. Now, what I'm also going to do, I think most of you are in a group chat. But I'm just going to find, hold on a minute, risk. I'm going to paste this for those of you who maybe aren't in my group chat, but you're in another group chat. An easy way to calculate risk. If my FX book at the beginning is a bit too confusing for you, use this. Where is Zoom? There we go. So, oh, that's not it. Hold on, I copied the wrong thing. What the heck did I just copy? I wanted to copy this. So this is the easiest way to calculate risk as a beginner. Okay, so if you have 100 pounds in your trading account, you'll use a 0.01 lot size. If you have 1,000 pounds in your trading account, 0.10. If you have 10,000 pounds, one full lot. Okay, so that's just a really easy way. If I were you, I would copy that, star it, paste it somewhere. If you're a beginner, this is the easiest way. Okay, as you get a bit more advanced, you can use my FX book. Okay, but guys, we went through risk, we went through the different types of trades, we went through how to copy a signal, okay, the difference between a market execution and a limit or a pending order. Are there any questions? Because I'm probably going to end it for tonight because I've been talking for far too long. So are there any questions before we stop for the night? Going once. If you want to unmute yourself as well and ask a question rather than typing it, you could do that as well. Going twice. How do you identify a buy stop? Okay, so Tansy, Bells is doing a Manara training tomorrow. I do not do Manara training. Okay, so if you can hop on his session tomorrow, but I showed you the difference between a buy limit and a buy stop. So that's how you would need to figure it out. Okay, so yeah, hop on Bell's session tomorrow, or just go back through mine when I talk about the difference between a buy limit and a buy stop. It's the same time. So Bell's training is the same time tomorrow, 9 p.m. UK time. And yeah, so basically the same time as this training was, but tomorrow. So do the different Eminus groups trade in different sessions first? Okay, good question, Miriam. So Eminus English is kind of all over the place because Eminus English, the guy is a swing trader. Now, what a swing trader means is you might be in a trade for a day, a couple days, maybe even a week. So he sends signals just anytime the market is ready, and you often see him looking at a daily chart in order to take his trades. Okay, so Eminus English can be kind of any time. Eminus Nepal, he lives in Japan. So you often see him send signals at the beginning of Asian session, which if you're in the UK, that's 8 hours behind us. So like probably like 1 a.m. So yeah, I often see signals from him at like 2, 3 in the morning, but he also does the beginning of London session and actually the beginning of New York session, because for him, that's before he goes to bed. So he will sometimes send London and New York sessions as well. Eminus Arabic, he just exclusively does the New York Open, which is 2:30 p.m. UK time, 9:30 a.m. EST. And then Eminus Spanish, I personally don't use him a lot, but I believe he's in Colombia. So a lot of the notifications I do get are like really, really late at night UK time. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Any other questions before we end for the evening? No problem, Miriam, no problem. Okay, perfect. Good to hear, Reese. Good to hear. All right, guys. Well, I'll stop there then for the night. I hope you all have an amazing evening, and I will see you all in the group chats. If you make profits with Eminus, drop them. I want to see them. I want to see you guys winning. All right, take care.